So the other day I realised it had been 6 years since all those lockdowns began in the first half of 2020. And I can't believe time's flied, but I remember how during that time, one of the buzzwords was resilience. We want our children to be resilient. This is good for raising resilient kids. But sometimes they can look different when you've had trauma in the school environment, or you're raising neurodivergent kiddos like I am. And it made me think, what does that look like? Kia ora, hi, I'm Susanna. I'm based in Tamaki Makaurau, Auckland, Aotearoa, New Zealand, and I support my community by reviewing sensory products and services that might be useful for neurodivergent households like ours, or those with sensory processing differences. And I talk about how they might be funded as well. A little while ago, I did some book reviews, like this one and this one, and just following on from that, when we talk about resilience and emotions, sometimes there are those that experience alexithymia, or they have difficulty naming their feelings. And, a lot of people, actually, Chanel Moriah in the book I Am Autistic that I talked about, talks about this and the idea of saying, I don't know. And sometimes the answer is genuinely, I don't know. But sometimes it's also like, I don't know how to express this. And so I wanted to look at this book, How Do I Feel? And the back reads, this is not a paid promotion, but the back reads, this dictionary is all about helping children find the words for how they truly feel. Learning to recognise and label our emotions is an important skill for life. Only when we know how we feel can we know how best to manage that emotion if we need to. And how we feel is never wrong or bad. Our feelings are always valid. So first off, I love that it's our feelings always valid. One thing I will say is it said it's for children, but actually I think this is useful for all ages. And I also think that for young children, particularly those that are neurodivergent, or maybe they communicate in ways other than speaking. Young children, this might be not the quite right for, although the other thing I love about it is it's beautifully illustrated. So here's an example. Frustration. So you always have like one emotion per double spread, and you have this lovely illustration and then the text. And here's a sample for how it says. So frustration is described as when something doesn't work out the way you want it to, or something stopped you from achieving your goal, you might feel frustrated. And then it talks about your body, you might want to pull your hair out, you might purse your lips, you might feel like lashing out. And it's helpful because it tells us that we're not being heard or valued by others. It also says it's similar to anger, disappointment, or discouragement. So it's really great in that sense. So sometimes young kids don't have the language for it, but for those that might, this could be a really, really useful resource. It's not funded, this is not a paid promotion, but it's a great resource. See you next time.